Okay, so this unit has two topics, radical functions and rational functions. So this unit is nice in that the thinking is more condensed because it's just two big ideas. And then we're going to mix ABCD stuff all into it. Okay, I'm going to show you what you did in grade 11. Don't write it down. But we did this in grade 11. Tell me how to graph it. Parabola. What else? Where do I start this parabola? 0, 0. How do I move for more points? 1 over, 1 up. Then I do 2 over, 4 up. Okay, etc., right? 3, 9. Okay, so today we're going to start to learn the radical function. Okay, what do you notice about squaring and square rooting? They're the opposite of each other, so think about that. Okay, you ready? So this is the radical graph. What is the square root of 0? 0. Square root of 1. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so when we graphed parabolas in grade 11, we talked about over and up. So this, if I go over 1, I should go up 1. If I go over 4, I should go up 2. And if I go over 9, I should go up 3. So how is that comparing to what I did on the parabola? What was this pattern? 1 over, 1 up, 2 over, 4 up, 3 over, 9 up. So what's the difference between them? They're flipped. Okay? Because we talked about these being opposite of each other. Last year we learned x squared. Now this is root x. Squaring and square rooting are the opposite. Okay, some of you might wonder, well, why did I only end up with 1 arm versus this has 2 arms? Okay, here's why. Do you remember something like this? Let's just make up a random thing. So what is the solution here for x? Plus or minus 5, right? So if you want, how would I ever get that? It would be plus minus the square root of x. It would have to include both of them. Okay, which we never do. Okay, we only take one of them. You can't take 2 graphs at once.
So you're never going to have 2?
No, never going to have 2. You're going to have 1 arm of it. Yeah. Okay, but that's why, if you're wondering why does this only have 1 arm, it's because I'm taking either the square root or the negative square root. Okay, so what is the domain? How would you write the domain of that? 0 to infinity. Okay, here's the other way to write that. I don't care how you write it, but what if the exam has this form? Can you recognize that form at least? What is the range? What's the lowest to highest? Okay, so the relationship in a radical between the x and the y is called diminishing return. So what does that mean? it means that the more you increase x, the slower y increases. We're always still increasing. We don't change to decreasing, but all of a sudden we're increasing more slowly. So an example in real life would be something like fertilizer. If you put fertilizer on your crop, you're going to see benefits. If you keep putting more and more and more fertilizer on there, is it going to keep benefiting just as much? No. Eventually there's going to be a point where it's hardly benefiting, but so, okay? Okay. So now here's how I can apply an A, B, C, or D. So I took the square root function and I placed, where would I put an A? I'd put it in front of the function. A B I put in front of the x. Does that make sense? Where I'm putting them. Okay, so here we go. Number 1. What kind of letters do you have? A, B, C, D. C and a D. So where should I put the start? Where should I start this out? What coordinate? How do you put those 3 and 2 into a starting coordinate? Which direction? Right 3, up 2. Okay, I have not done any A's or B's, so my pattern is just the same. Just like in parabolas when we had a slope of 1, we just did normal. So what's normal? 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Do you always notice that I reset to the start point when I do that too? Just like parabolas, right? We always went back to the start and did the pattern. So there's my 1, 1. There's my 4, 2. Did I do 4, 2? Some people are looking at me funny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what would be the new domain? Now we are going 3 to infinity. And then the heights are going from 2 to infinity. Square bracket, correct? Because we're exactly at that point. Okay. Which letter do I have here? A, B, C, D. A. Okay. Describing the transformation in words, what is happening to our graph? There'd be a reflection over, which axis would you reflect? X-axis, and a vertical stretch by 2. Okay, here's my first question. Where should we put the starting point? Did we move it anywhere? No. It's still 0, 0. Okay? How do you move a starter point? The only thing you can do is move it left, right, up, down. I don't see any C's or D's. Okay, let's go over and up. 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. If we were to think about our coordinates, what does an A do? In like if I was to think about what this was doing, what does an A do? It multiplies with y. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to multiply the up column. Okay, so I need you to start at 0, 0. I'm going to get you to move 1 right, 2 down. Return to the start, 4 right, 4 down. Okay, what is the domain? 0 to infinity, right? 0 to infinity. And in the range, make sure you write down low. What's the lowest? Negative infinity up to the height of 0. Okay, are you okay if I skip 3? There's just a C and a D, so it would be like the same as example 1. I should change this example 4. Let's go. I'm going to change this question so I get more stuff out of it. Okay, I'll go like that. Just going to put a +1 on it or something. Okay, so again, let's talk about first, where should I start? What's my starting coordinate? Have I moved left, right at all? No. Have I moved up, down at all? I moved up 1. So 0, 1. Chart. Over, up. 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. What letter is in the 3 is in what letter spot? A. The negative is a letter B. So what do those do? X gets divided by B and A gets times, right? Those are the process. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be dividing the x's, the over is the x. I'm going to divide it by -1. And the ups, that's the y. So what am I going to do to them? Times by 3. So now you just make yourself a new chart. Okay, so over, when I say -1, you're going to move left 1, up 3. Go back to the original start. Move left 4, up 6. Okay, talk about the transformations in words. Do you see them happening? Did you see a reflection over the y-axis? Do you visually see that? Reflect over y-axis. Can you see that? Did that happen? Okay. Did you see a vertical stretch by 3? Can you see that? It's pulled apart. And an up 1. Okay, let's change this around now. I'm going to give you stuff and you have to make an equation. Okay? Okay, we have the domain is from 4 to infinity. So would you agree with me that I'm heading into the right direction? And the range is 2 to infinity, so that range would head upward. So how do you head up and right? And what is the coordinate here? 4, 2. Okay, so which letters would I attack in the ABCD stuff? C and D. Make sure the C and the D part. Okay, do I have to reflect this at all, or is this normal? Normal. So then I just go y equals the square root of x minus 4 plus 2. Right 4, up 2. Right? Do you see how I'm opposite? Okay, following all the stuff from last unit. Okay, this one, the domain is from negative infinity to 2. Which way is it heading? Negative infinity to 2. So it would head like this. Negative 3 to infinity. That is going up. Negative 3 to infinity. So then my radical will look like this. How do I move left and up? It will look like that. The coordinate is 2, negative 3, right? So I'm going to have to move right 2 and left, or down, sorry. Right 2, down 3. Okay, there's a negative. Do you see it? There's been a reflection. So which negative would it attack, the A or the B? It would be the B has to be negative. So then I go y equals and did you factor yours out on your paper? Because which way do radicals, which way should a radical go? This is what it should look like. This is the normal radical, but ours looked that way. So do you see it? What happened? Reflected the y-axis. Okay, we need to make an equation for this one. Okay, so let's go, where did we start? 2, negative 3. Oh, look at that. It's the same as the last time. Okay, 2, negative 3. So y equals, I'm just going to leave some spaces here. X minus 2 minus 3. I don't know if I have to put anything else in there. Now, let's talk about an over-up chart. What's the next move we do? We do, looks like left 1 and 2 up. What's the next coordinate here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Okay, so here's my original and here's what happened. So what do you want to do to the x's? Divide by -1. So then I would write a -1 there. And guess what? It's reflected. You should see that as well, right? And what happened to the ups? They multiplied by 2. So then I would put a 2 in the A position. Okay, you can't graph number 1 already. There's some problem. Can anybody identify the problem? Factor out the B. Would I have caught you? Factor out the B. Okay, we know that rule. So now it's x minus 1 in the bracket. Okay, where should I start? Which is the coordinate I should start on? What has moved me left, right, up, or down? Are there any of those? 1 to the right. So you should start 1 to the right. Over, up. 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. What letter is this? Is this an A or a B? B. I'm going to divide by 2. So this is going to become a half. 2, 4 1/2. And it's all going to the right. So I'm going to go a half right and 1 up. Okay. I don't know. Want me to do another one? Okay, let's go with, which one do you want to go with? Number 2? Okay, where should you start? Is there any left, rights? Up, downs? Up 1. That was it. So start there. Okay, over, up. There is a negative in the which letter? B. So I'm going to do a divide by -1 on the x stuff.
Why did you start at 1 again?
Because of this transformation. Told me that I should start my point instead of at 0, 0. I should start up 1. Okay. And then B says, what's the value of x when y equals 3? So 1, 2, 3. As soon as you're at a height of 3, so a height of 3 is right there. So what is the matching x value? What is that x value? -4, right? Okay. You could also do that with algebra, right? Okay, so here's algebra. If y equals 3, what should I do to get x? Give me some algebra stuff. Subtract 1.
I see. On the graph, if you put 0, 1 and negative 1 on one side, aren't they right beside each other?
This isn't a coordinate.
That's not correct.
This is a movement.
Yeah.
So move left 1 and up 1 to get to the next coordinate. Does that make sense if I say that? It's not a coordinate, negative 1, 1. It's a movement. Okay, so here I am trying to solve with algebra. So now I'm going to square. So 4 equals negative x. And then I'm going to divide by negative 1. So negative 4 equals x, which matched our graph.